Hello, hello, hello. Nice to see you guys again. Happy Wednesday. I said I was going to get this up, so here I am getting it up. So we're supposed to talk about soul purpose this week and how to find that out. That has been a big thing. So I'm going to start this off by saying, if you are a person that does not believe in an afterlife or reincarnation, if you are a person who just doesn't believe that you have any control whatsoever, this video is not going to be for you. It's going to be for those people who have the ability to see a different way. I'm going to say a different way. I'm not going to say right and wrong, because I hate to say that things are right and wrong, because there's not a right and wrong. There is your personal truth, right? Okay, so my perspective on soul purpose and finding out your soul purpose and, learning your soul purpose is based on my personal experiences and gifts. That's how it is for most people with most things, okay? So over this 20 something odd years, I'm a medium. So I have spirits that come to me for help crossing over. I have spirits that come and deliver messages. I have dealt with other beings that come with messages, or people that are getting ready to be born. That's another part of mediumship that doesn't get talked about very much. But those spirits that are getting ready to come into a little human body and come out, sometimes I get those with like last minute messages or requests or needing some help with something. That's a part of my job. So I have my work that I do over here, and I have my work that I do over there. Okay. Also, one of the things that I do is I give past life readings. So I walk your timeline and I check into your past lives, and those, looking at your energy lines and your soul contracts and those lessons that you have learned in the past, the different lives that you've led. Okay, so that is where my perspective comes from on soul purpose. Now, when I get this question, what is my soul purpose? What is my life's purpose? It's difficult to answer sometimes, because what people are looking for is not often what comes up. When people ask that question, they're asking about a job. What job am I supposed to have? Or who am I supposed to marry? Or how many children am I supposed to have? What am I supposed to do with my life? That's the smaller picture, to be honest. That's like minimizing the view. The soul purpose in general, as I have seen it laid out, the soul purpose is evolution. It is literally about your soul growing and experiencing different things from different perspectives. That is where this concept of oneness and being able to empathize and have compassion with other people of other backgrounds. You don't really go through a life. And when I do people's past lives, and they may have had a past life in China, but then they may have had a past life in France, but then they may have had a past life in Africa, but then they may have had a past life in Brazil. It's always different places. It's different things. Their status in life, in society, may have been different. May have been a priest or a priestess in one life. We get that a lot. Everybody in a past life has been a priestess, right? That's an ongoing joke in in the reading community. They may have been a priestess or a priest in a past life. They may have been a clergy member of some sort, of a different kind, in a past life. They may have been a royalty. They may have been royalty. They may have been a peasant. It flip-flops from different life. You live different lives in different ways so that you get different perspectives and you learn different lessons. And the life that you live is based on those lessons that you've chosen to learn in that life that you're coming into. Okay, so your soul purpose is for you to be able to get those lessons so that you can evolve and you can grow. Think about it in the smaller, in a smaller view. We watch our children when they're born. They go through their phases, right? They go through that little infant phase where they need so much help and they're completely dependent on another person. Then they go through that toddler, I want to be independent phase, right? And they really think they are, but they really, really need you in the background. But that's also in that time frame where they don't understand their emotions very well. They don't understand everything that's happening around them to the point where they could talk about it. They may not be able to say, this hurt my feelings, because they're toddlers. They don't get that. They just know that whatever it is made them upset and now they're crying. Okay. They may not understand being able to say, well, I really want this, and be able to list all the reasons why they want it. They just saw something shiny and pretty and now they want it, right? Okay, so it's that. And then the adolescent phase, when they're unbalanced and unstable and the hormones are everywhere. And then you get to that adult phase where you've got a little more unbalanced and unstable and still trying to figure yourself out. And finally, you get to that mature seasoned stage, hopefully, because I've seen some adults that don't get there. Get to that mature seasoned phase, and then things start to calm and settle, and you take life more seriously, or that's a whole other video. You take things more maturely, more responsibly, and handle things differently. That is the same way with your soul, just on a much, much larger and grander scale. Okay. And everybody's in different places in their evolution. So when you meet somebody who, like the eternal child, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's a toss up right there, because the eternal child may be a soul that's like matured to a certain point where they're done taking everything so seriously, because they really grasp the concept that this is a human, this is a spiritual being having a human experience. But then you may actually have some soul that just has not evolved past that, like, toddler, adolescent stage. It just is different. So the soul purpose, your purpose for this life is seriously to get those lessons that you came here to get. That's what it is. And so it's how are you handling the things that come up? How are you handling the challenges? How are you handling the obstacles? How do you handle your interactions with other people, other beings, animals, whatever the case may be? How do you handle these things? And those particular things that like jump out at you, that stand out to you, because we all have those instances, those interactions that really just, like, it makes an impact, even if it's just for a moment. It's something that stands out in your mind for a moment, and you may just dismiss it and brush it off, but it stood out for a reason. Like 10 years from now, you can remember this little tiny, like, 3-minute moment, and it's like, I don't even know why I remember that. But you need to like look at, why do you remember that? That was a big part of your puzzle. That's a big part of you figuring out the things that are happening with you and those lessons that you need to get so that you can evolve and elevate. We talk about very often, if you've been following me on Facebook on the lives, we have talked about how life is like, how the process is like a spiral, right? So I bought my little shell out today, because you see the spiral. I love these. And so there's the point. That's where you start, and you go around and around, and it is a spiral. The path is a spiral, and it doesn't end. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And you may go through the same lessons in different ways or at deeper levels. That gets used for a lot of different things, a lot of different meanings, but you go through them at different levels and different phases, and it depends on your spirit, your soul. Where are you? Where are you in this process? Okay. And so when you talk about your soul purpose, when you come to me for a reading and you ask me, what is your soul purpose? I will talk to you about the lessons that you're learning, the things that you're supposed to grasp. What is it that you came here to get? Okay. Now, your sole purpose is not for you to come here and work a job and like work until you die. That is not your sole purpose. That's something that we do to survive this physical plane. Your sole purpose is not about your soulmate or your twin flame or your life partner, which can all be three completely different people. Soulmates can be multiple people. That's a whole other video. Okay. But your sole purpose is not just tied up in those tiny little things. Those are small parts of this life that you are living. Those are small parts. The greater part is for your soul to literally evolve, for it to elevate, for it to expand, for you to really get things on a much, much greater level. And to understand oneness and who that oneness is shared with, because we're all connected in certain ways, but we ain't all connected, if that makes sense. And it may not, but that's another topic for another day. But we're not all connected. We're not all one in the sense that people try to spread, and that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, your sole purpose is your purpose. Like, what did you come here to learn? What did you come here to get? What challenges, and you can tell that by the challenges and the obstacles that you face in your life. What have you faced thus far? What are those things that you see repeating themselves? Because patterns and cycles are going to repeat until you get it. It'll repeat in this lifetime, and then if this lifetime expires and you still haven't gotten it, when you come back the next time, it's going to repeat again. That's how it goes until you grasp that concept. It's like kids in school taking tests. They're going to have to repeat grades or repeat subjects until they show mastery, right? That's how we do things. And so that's me explaining soul purpose. And your purpose is going to be different from the next person, of course, obviously. It's going to be different from that next person. It's going to change. You're going to have more than one. Most people don't come here with just one lesson to learn. If that were the case, life expectancies would be, lifespans would be like that. But most people come here with multiple lessons and multiple things that they have to learn, and you see those patterns repeat. So what are your patterns? Because that's what we'll talk about. If you come to me for a reading and you want to know what's your soul purpose, we're going to talk about those patterns that come up in your reading. These patterns come up. These are your lessons. How are you responding to them? How do you handle them? How can you do this differently? Because if what you've been doing is not working and is still coming up, technically you are just the definition of insanity, because you're doing the same exact thing over and over and expecting a different result. And we're not insane. So we'll talk about how to fix it. Okay. So anyway, I hope that was beneficial. I hope that explained it and made it a little more clear. Because 9 times out of 10, you probably don't need to come to me for a reading to learn this. You can probably look at your own life and see what patterns you have been repeating over and over. And not just the lesson itself, but what have your responses been? How have you been handling those things? And when you see that and you choose a different path, you get the lesson, it's over, and you go on to a new cycle, right? All right, so that's it. That's all I got for you guys today. I will see you next week, and the lessons are already coming up. Next week may be a tutorial. We'll see. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of the day. With love, Asé.